Are
Something's
live.
happening.
We are live on YouTube.
Awesome.
Yes, hello, everyone, and welcome to this continuing discussion on the science of getting rich, a book written by. Oops, wait, making noise in the background here. Sorry. Fixed it. Sorry about that. So welcome. I am Nancy Matthews, one of the co-founders of Women's Prosperity Network, speaker, author, and person on a mission to share this book that was written in 1910 by Wallace D. Wattles with the world. And the reason that I'm so passionate about it is that this book in the 17 chapters distills everything that you've read probably throughout your life about success and wealth, and doing it in a way that feels good to you and feels good to the people around you, as well as the impact on the world that you have and the people that you serve. So this has been an ongoing discussion. Thank you for dropping by, and do me a favor, go ahead and share, like, do all that stuff to spread the word, because we're showing up to do our part in letting people know about the science of getting rich. And now we ask that you do yours in spreading this good news. And you can get a free copy of this book by going to Science of Getting Rich free PDF.com, and just go to that website. I'll make sure I put the link in here for you so it's super easy, and get the book and read it. Tonight's discussion on chapter 11 is what Wallace Wattles refers to as the crucial point in applying the science of getting rich and all the principles. So tonight's a really, really big lesson for everybody, and I'm delighted and honored to have three amazing women with us tonight to share in this discussion. So first of all, I will start with Varsha Bangadi. Wave to everybody. Hi, Varsha.
Hello.
She's got that beautiful sun behind her head, which used to be mine. So it's really fun that you now have that piece of yard art. Varsha is in the printing and embroidery business. She's got a shop in Stuart, Florida. She's also well-versed in stock trading, investment. She knows about money. And here's a woman who came to the United States from India at the age of 19? 23. At the age of 23 with just $500 in her pocket, correct?
Yep.
And she has turned that into, she's a real estate owner. She owns her own business. She does stock trading. She's got a really good life and gives back in a big way as well. So thank you.
I am so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Varsha, for being with us. And then we also have Mary Palmer. So wave, Mary, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Mary comes to us from Austin, Texas, and her business is known as Power Glam. She is a speaker, a consultant, and best-selling author. She is a leader extraordinaire, including being one of our leaders of the Austin chapter of Women's Prosperity Network. So glad you could be with us tonight.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then we also have Georgiana Rivera, who's been a longtime member of Women's Prosperity Network, right? Like, you've been around a long, long time, and I'm so grateful for that. And she is also an author, a speaker, a trainer, and recently is pivoting her business for another new chapter of her life. And I'll let her tell you about that a little bit later. And we're delighted to be in tonight's discussion. So getting my book like I normally do, because I like books and I make notes and I write in them. I haven't yet got to that, just the Kindle version, but I'm working on it. So this chapter, acting in a certain way. And for me, this chapter really sums up what I once heard John Assaraf say, who was in the movie The Secret. And I got to meet him once and I heard him speak, and he was talking about the law of attraction. You know, what you think about comes about. And he says the reason most people don't get what they want using just the law of attraction is they forgot about another very important law that goes along with it. And it's the law of Goya, Goya. Get off your, you know what it is.
I'll say it.
Get off your ass. And really acting in the certain way is a lot about what goes on in this chapter. So let me turn it over first to Georgiana. Thoughts, insights, ahas from this chapter.
So what Wallace Wattles is bringing to us is once we do all that hard work and we create, we use our mind and our heart, which is our thoughts and feelings, and we really create something beautiful that's coming to us. We're not done yet. There's more that's needed. And we have to be in action. And what he uses, it's really a great phrase to use. He says, be prepared to receive. So I really love that he used the word receiving, because receiving is a verb, it's action, but it describes a certain kind of action. It's a gentle action. So you don't want to be pushing, struggling, trying to bring that creation to you, because you're not actually helping yourself, and you're not in that action of putting yourself in the point of receiving. So you can't sit back and just open your arms and say, it's coming to me. But receiving means being in action, being in a position, because we know when everything comes to us, it's usually going to come to us through other people. So when it comes to us, we are preparing ourselves to receive. All the while we're waiting, we're not thinking about, is it coming now or is it going to be soon? We just keep doing what we're doing. And he describes that as just keeping busy right where we are. We don't have to go anyplace else. Whatever business we're in, whatever we're doing is the perfect place to be. Just keep putting your action into that business, serving people, creating love, creating value, because when it does come to you, you will be offering value for whatever you receive. And you're going to be in that perfect place if you keep in action all the while that you're waiting.
Beautiful. I love that you said receiving is an action. It's not just sitting back. And that's, I think, what John Assaraf was talking about also, the law of being in action, getting off your ass to make sure that you're prepared to receive. I shared this story the other night, like, I wish I had a brand new bedroom set. So I wish for that. Well, how would I go about getting that? I'd go to the store, or I'd go online and I'd pick out the things that I'd want. To be prepared to receive, I need to move the old bed out of the way to make space for the new. And all of that is about how we prepare to receive. It's our action that makes it easy for us to receive when it comes. Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome. Who else wants to chime in on that? I feel like Varsha's got something on the tip of her tongue. Was I right?
Yeah, absolutely. My most favorite line in this chapter is, but you must act in a certain way so you can appropriate. I just love that word. What is yours when it comes to you. And that to me just says it all. I mean, the whole chapter is called acting in a certain way. So, well, what comes with certainty and knowing, the knowingness, and makes you act with confidence and be open to receiving, not only it's not like, oh, please, please, please let it come to me. It's like knowing that you're going to wake up the next day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to think about it. It just happens. And that, I feel, has propelled me in my life all the time. I mean, even with this pandemic and everything that's going on, it's like my first reaction to the phone's not ringing. Well, like, great, now I have time to actually figure out which way I want to move in. I mean, you started the pivot program, and I'm like, if I could do anything right now, what do I want to do? I mean, I refocused on my trading because I used this opportunity for that, and I could only have the confidence to do that because I was so certain that this was the way I was going to succeed, and it's like taking it almost for granted.
Well, what I also heard in that is when, the pandemic happened, or when, a disease happens or a client doesn't come through, you did not at all dwell on all of the negativity and downward thought around things changed. Let's just say they changed. And
Yeah.
you said, okay, instead of like, oh my God, I can't believe there's a pandemic and what am I going to do? La, 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 you went, okay, things have changed. Now what do I want? Like you went right into that.
I mean, it's so funny. It was almost like a sense of fun for me. And it's a funny thing. Fun was my word for the year. Is my word for the year. So it's like, oh my God, I've been having a blast just doing whatever I want.
Wonderful.
It's almost the shackles of
Yeah,
showing up in a certain way are gone.
Yeah, I hear you. And that's because of the conditioning of your mindset before this happened.
Yes.
So let's
yes.
get clear on that, you know, and
Yeah.
that's, again, why we are sharing this book for free for anybody who wants it, who's willing to put the effort in to shift the mindset, because that's where everything happens. That's where the magic is.
Yeah, because those opportune moments are all around you. I mean, they're constantly happening. Just look at us today. We tried, 4 times we tried to get on Facebook, and then we came up with, or rather, you came up with Plan B.
Plan B. Went on YouTube first, then shared to Facebook, which I think
Yeah.
we are live.
Yeah, but we were certain that we were going to be doing this no matter what. I mean, it's a small thing, but it's always moving in that direction. It applies to every little thing we do.
Beautiful. Let's hear from Mary.
Well, the common thread in the conversation is vision, envisioning where you're going, believing that what you're working on, that your focus doesn't get diverted. Yeah, there's a pandemic going on. Yeah, there's a whole lot of civil unrest. But it doesn't take us away from our focus. And so what we've done is we've conditioned our minds to hold true to our vision. Yes, we know that there's things going on and we're juggling some balls, we're keeping a few more in the air. But the beauty of it is that our belief in what we're doing, our belief in that we are meant to receive, our belief that there is abundance, that there is so much to be had, just not a nervous. I'm going to say that the last 2 months have been the best months I have had in my Mary Kay business ever since I started.
Wow.
Yes. And
because I just want to say, and I want to acknowledge you, because you conditioned your mind before it happens, and you thought, okay, where's the opportunity? And I know you've been doing like online get-togethers and showing people how to use their products. Like many businesses shifted to online in this day and age, right?
Right. But the thing about it is that I was also paying attention to myself, because with this receiving your riches, this is probably about the 5th or 6th time I've gone through the process. I didn't always go through it, but I started it and lay claim to the basic concepts, which is that you must act in a certain way. But wait, there's more. And that more is that although I know that I have to think in a certain way, the light bulb did not go off until this last time. Not only must I act in a certain way, I must think in a certain way and be consistent at it. So stepping one day at a time, one moment at a time. And I know that back in March, our distribution centers, there was 5 of them. They started closing. One closed on the West Coast, one closed up in the Northeast, and we were down to 3. And then there was like, oh my gosh, we're going to close. And then guess what happened? Abundance happened. The government asked us to make hand sanitizers.
Really?
Yes, Mary Kay is essential.
I had no idea.
Yes. So over $10 million donated by the company through the foundation, the charitable.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. That's wonderful.
Yes, to hospitals in Texas and EMTs and throughout the country. The thing about it was, my concern has always been to stay in creativity and not competitiveness, because where I live, I'm in Austin, Texas, and there's a whole lot of competition on every plane. So all of a sudden there was competition for toilet paper. And you know what? There is plenty. There is more made because there is a thinking stuff.
Right. We got some at the store today. She said the shelves were full. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, so more will come. We just have to stay
Yes.
in belief and hold our vision. But here's the thing. One of the things Georgiana alluded to, and all of you have, and that is when we are thinking of others, because the dreams of the consultants I lead are tied to mine. If I just say, you know what, I'm not gonna do anything. They're germs. What's gonna happen? So with that, I kind of went, well, you know what? I've got to rethink this. I've got to consider how I'm going to not just work my business, but show these women how to work theirs in this environment that from 1 minute to the next was constantly changing. And I know for you, Varsha, it certainly was. I know for Women's Prosperity Network, all of a sudden we're meeting inside and
Yeah.
Changes, yeah.
yeah.
You know what you just were focusing on is one of the other things that he talks about in the chapter that also Georgiana alluded to. And he says, put your whole mind into present action. Do not give your creative impulse to original substance and then sit down and wait for results. If you do, you'll never get them. Act now. There is never any time but now, and there never will be any time but now. If you are ever to begin to make ready for the reception of what you want, you must begin now. And the impulse to do this free conversations, bringing on other people to discuss the science of getting rich, hit me about 3 weeks ago. And now I needed to coordinate 17 chapters, 3 to 4 guests a night. How many people? What days am I going to do? What time am I going to? There's a lot involved in all of those pieces.
Yeah.
And the impulse hit. I hesitated slightly because of the civil unrest happening. Should I do this? Should I not? Is it the right conversation? And then I was like, no, I'm going to trust. I'm meant to deliver this to people now because they need it. So I took action in the present. And I think what happens sometimes, and it's happened to me, completely admittedly, we might get an inspired idea or a thought, oh, maybe I should do this. And then those little nagging gremlins show up and say, but what if you do this? And you can't do that. And blah, 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 blah. And then before you know it, that now has passed. Varsha?
Yeah, that is, I mean, what is that line in here? By thought, the thing you want is brought to you. By action, you receive it. I mean, there are days I have handwritten notes. There are days when that one comes on above my computer because that's exactly what happens. I mean, we call it procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what exactly it is you hit it on the nail. You overthink things, and then it goes from inspired action to looking for the safe bet.
Ooh, that was a good line. It goes from inspired action to looking for the safe bet because there's risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really important.
And I've been diligent about trading every day. I've been time blocking thanks to you. But that's it right there. Is in trading, you do have to hedge your trade. So it's kind of interesting how on a regular basis I have to look at what I'm doing. Is it inspired from a point of, is it the right time to make that move? Or is it just a safe thing to do and then I can hedge it later? Mm-hmm. And it's just interesting because you can come from a place of contraction when you're looking for that safety, because that's what it is. It's a little bit of contraction. You feel yourself making yourself a little smaller so you kind of can fit in to the place you're trying to go to. But,
Well, if you think, yeah, I'm sorry. And if you think about that, I work with lots of business owners and entrepreneurs who want to serve more people. And one of the best ways we have to reach more people is through what we're doing right now. Do
Yep.
a Facebook Live, put up some videos on YouTube, put yourself out there, get on a podcast. And the resistance point of putting yourself out there is probably one of the biggest ones that most entrepreneurs need to learn to overcome. I know, but look at, you're all here. I got you. You already did it. So,
yeah,
go ahead, George.
Yeah, Nancy, what you're doing is so important, because I was thinking, it's not like we learn these principles and then we don't have to ever look back at them, because human nature being what it is, we're constantly needing to refresh our minds and our hearts. And when we talk about our hearts, it's our feeling nature, and really involving those powerful feelings, which is going to be that creative energy that brings us forth. So we don't learn this once and then we forget about it. I mean, we might have all learned it years ago, but we have to keep renewing, bringing it forward in our mind. I read another book and it talked about learning this principle on 3 different levels. First is awareness. And so when you're aware of something, you act in a certain way. The next level is understanding. So you really understand how this principle works. That's going to bring a deeper level of action. The third level is knowing. And when you know something, it's a sure bet, Varsha, you know it's going to happen. Eventually you will receive it. And when you know something, you're going to act in a certain way. So for me, what I found is I have to keep renewing these principles all the time. I usually do a morning, either meditation, prayers, different routines. And I've always, I think for the last 4 years, every day I do something about the law of attraction, creating or receiving. So I'm always keeping it in my mind. So I do different things to kind of, keep that fresh in my mind. And one of the things that I do periodically, and I find is important, is I stop to think about what I've received. So it is a matter of gratitude. Sometimes you don't realize that you've actually received something or how you've received it until you sit down and actually think about it and write it out. And I do it in a journal. And it's amazing how it adds depth to that if you think about what you do receive, and you kind of, shake up your routine every day so that you're bringing these principles into your life.
I love that. And we talked about it in one of the previous episodes. I'll get right there, Mary. I see you ready. So I too had that aha. So one of the things that I've enhanced, so there's a 30-day program. If you want to get it, there's a link on that free PDF, but you don't have to. You can. It enhances the program. But I included an evidence tracker. And it's when you're sitting down and reading the book every day, notice what comes in. Did you get a $12 refund on your electric bill, or a stock that, you ended up getting a check for $35? I got, in the last month, I got notification from the state of Florida that there was thousands of dollars sitting in an unclaimed account. Out of the blue. From a deal that I did probably 7 or 8 years ago. And I was like, yay! So that it will come to you in a variety of ways, and we've got to pay attention. So tracking the evidence, Mary.
Okay, so exactly, tracking, attract number grows. And I know that because that is one of my hashtags, attract number grows. So doesn't matter what business.
What is it? Attract
number grows.
Attract numbers grow. So when I track my numbers, they grow.
Yes, because you're focused on them, right?
Oh, good.
So in my office, you can't see it here, but I have one of those, like United Way has those little thermometers, and I track everything every month. And I noticed that when I start tracking and I put my goal number and I keep my vision on what it is, like the vacation or whatever it is I'm searching for, like on a vision board, it happens. So yes, we have had evidence. We just got a reduction on our mortgage. It's a good sum, and it just came out of the blue. Of course, the interest rates are coming down, but there's out of pocket. So yeah, we'll go for it. It's another $100.
Yeah, it all adds up.
Yeah.
Yep, got a check in the mail, got a, yeah, one or two of those the last few days. And then I'm looking at my notes here in my book and I'm like, but we haven't talked about gratitude. And then Georgiana says gratitude.
Oh.
That's why I looked at you like this. I was like, what? We're so connected.
Yeah. I actually, one of the lines in my notes says trade with faith and gratitude.
Yes.
Exactly. And with focus and unwavering focus and vision. This morning when I got up and I have a packed day, but I thought, you know what, I am going to rearrange and I'm going to make this 6 o'clock event happen, and I'm going to be prepared for it. And I was just like determined, and things just started happening. And I was like, nope, it's happening. And I just turned off my phone and I said, I'm off. I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite things.
It's beautiful.
People.
Beautiful. Well, let's do this where time always flies when we do these sessions, and I do my best to keep them to right around 30 minutes. I'm going to ask a question that I've asked from most of my guests, and that is, to someone who's happened upon this, and maybe this is the first in the series that they've seen, and they haven't yet read the book or gotten into a group study about it or a mastermind, and this is new for them, and they're like, what are they talking about? What advice would you give to someone who's, looking for something to enhance their lives? What kind of advice would you give? Let me start with Georgiana, and then we'll go around the circle.
This is really a basic principle about how the universe works, and it works the same for all of us. So if you don't know about it, you're putting yourself outside of a wonderful benefit and something that you can take advantage of. And I think for all of us, when we hear this, it might be a little strange for the first time. Keep an open mind and just look at that. The fact that in this wonderful group of Women's Prosperity Network, we're talking about it because we know that it works. It really works for people. So keep an open mind, and you will be rewarded for every effort that you put into learning.
That was gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you. Mary.
I'm going to say, try it. Be consistent. Consistency is sexy. Okay. Just want to leave that.
I've heard that before, but I agree.
Yeah. And so be consistent. Pick a time of day. Try it. I would say minimum 10 days. Yes, it's more than that, but I would say try it for 10 days. I truly believe that results will be observed. There will be evidence when you're in alignment with the laws that govern the universe. The Lord does not want us to be poor. He wants us to have everything so that we can pass it on. And that is a basic principle. It doesn't matter where you live, how you live, right?
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, Miss Varsha.
Well, I mean, the name is Science of Getting Rich. If you need more prodding than that, then I don't know why you would. I mean, it's like having an easy button, like the Staples easy button. And you know me, I mean, I like being lazy. So it's like outsource everything and just reading a book for 10, 15 minutes a day and just being mindful, because that's what it is. To me, all of it is a practice of patience, persistence, and mindfulness. And it just makes it so much easier. It's easy to digest. It's a no-brainer.
Awesome. So that was great. Perfect little suggestions and invitations from all of us. And remember, you can get your free copy of the book at Science of Getting Rich, freepdf.com. And I'm again inspired to share the closing statements from this chapter, which are, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. A person can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, a person must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the things he wants and hold this picture in his thoughts with fixed purpose to get what he wants and the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind to all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith, so that he may receive what he wants when it comes. A person must act now upon the people and things in his present environment. If there are things that you want, now is the time to take action. Download the book, commit to tomorrow morning. You're going to start reading this and you're going to have conversations with people and you're going to just give it a go. What have you got
Yeah.
to lose? The only thing you have to lose is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what you can lose if you don't do this. But I mean, if you do this, and I think it would be nice to lose those things, right? It'd be nice to
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah,
So, ladies, thank you for joining us, for making
thank
this
you. Awesome.
Love, love, love it. We're going to be back on Monday. So we're going to take off Sunday. We'll be back on Monday with chapter 12 in The Science of Getting Rich. And I bet by the time we meet again on Monday, many of you will have downloaded the book and you'll be saying, oh my God, thank you so much. This is amazing. Share your evidence.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
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 to God
Yes,
be.
yes, yes.
Good night,
Bye
everybody.
all.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye all.